less. An exclusive story this week details a secret deal between the LCBO and the beer store. And Toronto Star Queen's Park columnist Martin Regg-Con is with us to talk about it. Martin, good story this week. What did you find? What is this secret deal between the LCBO and the beer store?
We've always known that Ontario was in the dark ages when it came to the sale of beer, with the beer store having an effective quasi-monopoly on the sale of beer, relegating the LCBO to a small part. What's new is that they put all of this nonsense into an agreement in writing and use some of the most flowery language to try to, Orwellian language, to tell us that this is good for us. So one of the phrases that they use in this agreement, which is between the LCBO, which is also the regulator, and the beer store, which, remember, is a foreign-owned private company, is that working together in the spirit of this framework, the Ontario beer consumer will benefit. And that serving Ontario beer consumers, framework for improved cooperation. Serving Ontarians. Who knew that the beer store, by restricting the supply of what the LCBO could sell to you, never mind others, is actually doing you a good thing? That's what's new in this agreement. The hypocrisy and also the extent to which they try to limit the ability of the LCBO to sell more than 6-packs. They can't sell 12-packs, 2 4s, cases of 24 Allen, and
thank you very much, Martin.
And so it's a control agreement.
Well, now Ed Clark recently said that that should change, that the LCBO should be able to sell 12-packs. Yeah. What was interesting about
so
yes.
They only wants to go halfway
because he says that the stores, the LCBO doesn't have the infrastructure to be able to have 2 4s.
The bigger thing that Ed Clark said, and this is important because that explains why this is costing Ontario in a certain way, is that Ed Clark said most of the money is made, most of the volume, and therefore the money is in these 2 4s. And he was concerned about starving off the beer store, lest it go hungry, by allowing the LCBO to sell 2 4s. And the reason for that is that Ed Clark wants to preserve the cash flow so that the Ontario government can get a higher share of that hidden profit.
In response, the beer store said there is no secret deal and also makes the claim, as they do often, that they are a break-even operation, that essentially that no money leaves Ontario, that there is no extra money somehow that should be going into government coffers. You buy that?
You would think that the beer store was the food bank in Ontario, that they're doing this as a public service. Remember, the beer store is a company, kind of a co-op, that is owned by the 3 biggest brewers in Canada, Labatt's, Molson Coors, and Sleeman's, who are themselves now owned by foreigners, and I can't pronounce it, AB InBev, the old Anheuser-Busch company, Molson Coors, and Sapporo of Japan. So they are the owners, and they get the benefits from the big spreads and the price and the margins that Ontario's beer market is more profitable. It's a $3 billion a year market than in any other province in Canada for those big brewers. So there's a lot of wordplay and semantics that goes on. The beer store is one of the most influential and well-financed lobbies in this province, and they are very aggressive in the way they pursue their interests.
Well, I pressed the Minister of Finance. This is his file this week about why is this continuing? Why should we have this continuing in Ontario? And they fell back on the Liberal response, which is pretty much everything, which is we're looking at it.
That's their smokescreen, if you will, is what's under review.
But you're saying that the lobby is so strong. Is there any chance in your mind that it will change?
It depends on the public. Look, this is not the biggest, most important issue in Ontario.
Yes, it is.
There are food banks. There is a shortage of housing. There's pharmacare, dental issues. No,
Don't
seriously,
make me feel guilty.
There are important issues. The difference is this one is the easiest to solve. It would only require the government to, first of all, allow the LCBO to do 2 4s, and eventually to let the private sector also compete in selling beer rather than letting one privileged group make the most money out of this.
All right, great exclusive. Thank you so much, Martin Regg-Con from the Toronto Star.